Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good afternoon, everybody, anywhere in the world where there's afternoon, and good morning to people here in the United States of America. Today, Sister Sarah is traveling, and so I took over. Alhamdulillah. It was so much fun doing the workshop with you all. I hope that the people, and I've written it here as well, Sister Sarah has sent the message that we hope that you all enjoyed the simple strategies to stop shouting. And anybody you know who might need this, please let them know that this workshop is available and would definitely benefit from this. Today, in Thursday Thoughts, this is one of my favorite books. And you see, it's my favorite. It's a little bit torn because that's how much I've read this book, Setting Boundaries and Finding Peace by Nadra Tawwab. And I thought, you know what? There is a wonderful workshop coming again by the end of this month, and that is by Coach Mariam, and it is on communication. And as we all know, that any problem that we face in life is solved through communication, and communication is the key to having successful, strong relationships. However, the communications fail. Why? Because we get scared, because we believe that the people that we're communicating with are not understanding us, because maybe when we are saying things, people do not understand where we are coming from. So communication is the key, and do look out for the next workshop by Sister Mariam Arafat, and it is on communication. It is by the end of October. You will be receiving emails about it, and I hope that the last workshop that Sarah and I did, how to stop yelling, has been beneficial for you. If you have not bought that workshop, if you have not thought of buying it before, but you think that, it might add to your parenting tools in your everyday life, then definitely it's a must check out. Let's come to, and because our next workshop is going to be about communication, I thought, you know what? When we communicate, what is it that we don't do? We don't have boundaries. We overflow with emotions, or we overthink, and in our anxiety, what we do not understand is why are people behaving the way they are behaving, especially our children, and especially our spouses, and especially our in-laws. I, coming from a South Asian family background, when I work with clients, a majority of them, and I find this to be a universal thing. I don't think it's a South Asian thing anymore. I think it's a universal thing where people usually do not understand what boundaries are, or people do not know how to set their boundaries, or people are afraid of setting boundaries because we have been brainwashed to think that if you set a boundary, that is Islamically wrong, or that is not fulfilling your haqq, or your priority in your relationship. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained us to have good relationships. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala definitely has ordained us to have good relationships, and good relationships come from respecting each other. And when we do not know how to have these boundaries, what happens is our respect for each other drops, and then the communication becomes worse, and the relationship suffers. So let's start. I'll keep it very, very short, but I hope that a few things that we discuss here, inshallah ta'ala, will help us to have some boundaries. So what are the four? Oh, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Sarah, the captain of the ship. How are you? How's the travel going? Okay, so 4 ways to unsuccessfully communicate the boundary. And when I'll be talking about these, you will see yourself in maybe all 4 of them, in 3 of them, or 2 of them. You better decide. And then first, we need to highlight where our problem is, so that the listener might have some peace that, it's not only me, it's a universal thing. Okay, now that we know that it's a universal thing and we can come out of shaming each other, then we can start working on what to do. So the first kind of boundary is where when someone is passive and they think, I'm uncomfortable sharing my needs, therefore I will keep it to myself. So having an issue but not saying anything, majority of women do this. Allowing people to do and say things that you disagree with, a majority of women do this. Ignoring things that are triggering you, and then ending up shouting, yelling, frustrated, throwing things, having meltdowns, breakdowns, crying, not knowing like what is wrong with me. Right? I think all 3 of these we can definitely Somewhere in our life this has happened to us, or it happens to us on regular basis, and it's extremely unhealthy. When someone is aggressive, they might simply say, I need you to see how you make me feel. Now, so if we have these three things, and you're aggressive and you want to set a boundary, but you're aggressively trying to set a boundary, what happens is you say, I need you to see how you make me feel. Right now, it sounds like an accusation, right? And so aggressive communication is attacking another person, being pushy. And so example of aggressiveness, when somebody does not know how to set it nicely but is being aggressive because of the triggers that are triggering them, they're demeaning others to make their point. Like, they're yelling, they're name calling, they're cursing. They usually use past examples to shame people, being fight, using cynical humor to ridicule. Like, example, you're fat, you just don't know. Oh, I'm just joking. They will say everything hurtful, and then they will just say, oh, I am just joking, right? What is that? Is like directly aggressive behavior where you want to stop somebody. So you can either consider yourself on this side of the spectrum where you're being aggressive because you don't know how to stop the other person, or the other person is being aggressive to you and you're just keeping quiet because you do not want confrontation. And usually women find themselves on this side where they keep quiet with these aggressive behaviors. And so, and then the second one is passive aggressive. Oh, this one we women know, the passive aggressive. Appearing upset but refusing to admit, no, there's nothing wrong. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. There are so many memes where women say, I'm fine. And then the men say, when she says I'm fine, she is definitely not fine, right? Making verbal attacks not related to the current situation. Yes, this is really bad. We do that. May Allah forgive us for that. Being moody for no reason. No reason. And our children, especially our teens, do that. Like, I have been struggling with this with one of my kids, and I'm like, I've been asking her since the past 2 days, like, what is wrong? What did I do to you to deserve to deserve this moodiness? What's happening here? But this again is a passive aggressive boundary breaker. Like, if somebody is being passive aggressively mean to you and you don't understand why their moods are just going off and on, bringing up issues from the past, like, you know what, I want to make you miserable as much as I'm miserable, so I'm going to bring up something that will tick you off, right? Engaging in problem focused complaining. This is the problem. This is what it is. I don't know how to handle it. You did not handle it well. Why don't you handle it well? This is your responsibility. Again, boundaries are being crossed here. If we are the ones who want the solution and we're pushing it up to our spouses or to somebody else and not communicating in a respectful manner, again, it's a universal law in communication. And remember, and I will keep reminding that there is a workshop coming up on communication by sister, our coach, Mariam Arafat, inshallah, by the end of this month, and you will be learning more about communication. However, one of the things about communication is don't use the you statement, use the I statement, right? And in aggression or in passive aggressive, again, gossiping about things that could not fix anything, and you don't address the problem, you just gossip about the person, right? And so all of these are all you statements. Like, it shows that something is wrong with other person the other person. Of course, then there's manipulation, making an issue you have with them seem like it's an issue with you, asking for help at the last minute, informing you that they have no other options, telling a story that's intended to evoke pity, leaving out critical parts of the story to persuade your support to them, withholding affection to get you to feel bad or change behavior. Now, husbands usually do that, and wives usually do that. We manipulate each other. We tell only our part of the story, especially if there's in-laws involved. We tell we stop talking to each other, we stonewall each other, which is extremely bad. If you've ever learned anything about marriage and communication, stonewalling is the worst thing that you can do. Like, not talk to your spouse. And people and Aisha Javed, yes, sister Sarah, so sister Mariam Arafat and Aisha Javed will be doing the communication workshop by the end of this month, inshallah ta'ala. Definitely do look out for the emails. Assertiveness is the way. So, okay, so you found the people say all of these things. You found them being aggressive, you found them being passive aggressive, you found them being manipulative. Universally, these are the three problems. That's why we're so scared of people. We're so scared of communicating. We're so scared of not solving the issue. We're so stuck in the issue. And actually, we sometimes we even forget what the issue is. We're just stuck with the person, how they made us feel. Remember that saying, it's not what they say, it's how they make us feel. Or it's not what you say, it's how people will always remember how you made them feel. And how do we feel when we don't, when our boundaries are being not respected because we never actually kept any boundary, or people are being aggressive, passive aggressive, manipulating, and we understand that this is their tactic to keep a hold on the situation, to keep a lid on us, to leash us with them wherever they go, however they do, whatever they do, so that they're not being questioned. What happens is, um, we have to, the number one thing is you have to become assertive. There's no other way. People who are usually stuck with the idea that if I become assertive I will not be nice, need to remind themselves that nice is the wrong poison that you're putting inside of your mind, body, and soul, and killing yourself slowly and gradually. You will definitely die, like the death, the moral death, the death where you will feel so suffocated that you will give in all of your agency, and you will feel bitter about it, and you will feel sad and angry about it, because the niceness that you were thinking is going to help you deal with all of these issues is not actually helping you. It's actually uh, debilitating you, not making you work and do the things that you need to do. You have to be assertive. Now, people, when they, Islamically again, and in Muslim communities, or in good religious communities, people think that being assertive means being loudmouthed, being bossy, being pushy, being nosy, looking down upon somebody. No, assertiveness has never meant that. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was assertive. The Sahaba Karam, they were assertive. If you look to them, we do not come from this notion that if somebody slaps you on one cheek, then you put the other cheek forward. We stop the hand. We stop the hand. And that is taqwa, and that is tawakkul, and that is sabr. But we have somehow managed to make sabr so ugly that we suffocate ourselves. Okay, that was just a tangent. Somebody says also people are scared to set boundaries because of the pushback they expect to get from the other party. Yeah, of course we're scared. Nice means not to say anything, means slow death. And this is what we're addressing, basically why we need to become assertive. So there's no easy way for me to say this. But if you want to be assertive, you have to stop being afraid that somebody might come out to say, you're not nice anymore. It's okay. I can either be dead or I can be nice, and I choose to be alive. And so I'm going to be assertive. I'm going to learn the skills to be assertive in a kind manner. If somebody cannot manage their emotion, that is their problem, not my problem. Am I going to not give them their rights in my relationship? I am 100% going to do that. Am I going to be kind and merciful, compassionate, empathetic? I'm 100% going to be that. But that is for me to know and me to understand. And I'm not going to wait for a label from the other party to say, oh, you are nicely assertive. That's never going to happen. Understand this. That is never going to happen. You will not find a single person who will say, oh, you know what? Sister Iram is nicely assertive. There will be two kinds of people. One who will understand that Sister Iram has boundaries and she respects herself enough to always, um, um, have that objective, and she works within her boundary framework, which is very respectable. It's highly admirable. It is good, and I respect it. And it's okay if she does not see eye to eye with me. At least she was able to communicate. She did not go behind my back, and she did not say things about me, right? Or there will be other kind of people. Oh my God, she is a bitch. What does she think she is? Who does she think she is? How come she said directly no? Like, you know what? People can say no nicely. No. If I wanted to say no, I will say no nicely, assertively. Your nice might be my assertive. My assertive might be your ugly. And that is not the story. The story is respectfully saying what you have to say, what you should say, in order to save the relationship for your future communications. I hope I was here. I did not lose anybody. Okay, telling people how you behave with their behavior. What is the you and I statement? When somebody is yelling at you, when somebody is high up on the emotion top, and you understand that, you are an intelligent person, you understand that this person is feeling frustrated or angry because I'm not giving in to what they want me to do. You can either walk away, or you can say we will discuss this when we both have calmed down, or we can say this behavior is hurting me more and I cannot communicate further. It makes me anxious, it bothers me, it worries me. You make it about how the behavior is um affecting us. We do not say, oh, you are going crazy by yelling like that, keep your tone down. Tell a woman who is emotionally on her height, who has so much anger and she's so fearful that what she wants will not be done, because in the past it has never, her needs were never met, and now she's just basically trying with every inch and piece to fight for the for her right, which she is fearful will not be given to her. Tell that woman to stop yelling, and you will see what will happen. Either she will break a cup or a glass, or she will start yelling even more. She might even start pushing the other person more. She might start crying. Majority of the women, they just give him and they start crying. And on top of that, when you hear from the abuser or the aggressor or the passive aggressive person, oh, this is your tactic, you will cry now so that I will give in, I will never give in to what you want me to do. Oh my god, that makes you even more mad. You're not crying because you want to manipulate the other person, you're crying because you have no agency, you feel helpless, you feel as if I am in a coffin and I cannot get out. It's so suffocating, right? I hope I've given you that exact dreading picture that you need to feel so that you learn this. Assertiveness is not equal to niceness, but assertiveness is equal to living a, a, a sensible life. A sensible life. I'm not saying it will bring calm to the other party. If they are not on the respectful boundary spectrum with you, it will not bring calm to them, but at least you will be able to see clearly that it's not me problem, it's them problem. And if it's a me problem, also, if you are a passive aggressive, I mean, we women, we wives become passive aggressive actually with time, even with our kids. I think the whole aggression that we get from everywhere else, we just push it towards our children, and we are really bad. We manipulate our children, and we communicate with them passively aggressively, and that's what hurts our relationship as parents with them. Okay, coming back to this, sharing your honest thoughts and experiences. Again, we do not want to share honest thoughts and experiences because we think they will not take it. Assertiveness is, they take it or don't take it. You have to be honest. Start somewhere. Honesty is the best quality. That's what we've learned. None of us are honest in our communication skills. None of us are honest when we really need to reach out to the other person. Why? Because we're scared. And assertiveness is equal to shedding off that scaredness. Okay, so let's see. Be clear. Do your best to be straightforward. So, step one is be clear. Do your best to be straightforward as possible. Mind your tone. Don't yell or whisper. People will miss the boundary if you use complicated word jargon. Take a deep breath. Do your Ayatul Kursi as well, or the three calls if you're so scared of the other person, but you really need to address it and focus on being precise. That's number one rule. Okay. Step number two, directly state your need or request, or say no. Don't just mention what you don't like, right? Ask for what you need or what you want. Identify your expectation or decline the offer. Here are a few examples of step 1 and step 2. A friend asks you to go to a party but you don't want to go. Thank you for your invite, but I'll sit out. When I was reading this example, I remembered if there's a marriage in the family and you have to go to that family marriage and you hate all the people there that you're going to see, and you tell your husband, I don't want to go, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're going to still end up going. You're still going to end up going because it looks so bad, and the husband is scared that everybody's, oh, you didn't bring your wife, you didn't bring your wife. And when he comes back, the wife is going to get a further earful. There's going to be more gossip about it. Rather just suck it up and go, right? You have to be intelligent about the places where you say assertively no and the places where you say yes. I don't want to go to that wedding because there are people I really dislike. I will not be engaging in much conversation. I am going because I do not want drama. You know how I feel about them. Please, can we make sure that we leave in within 2 hours? Can I get a nod from you? Can I get an agreement that we will leave early? That is how you will set that boundary for that occasion with your husband. You can't. I understand this, and that is why I brought this example up, because somebody might say, "Oh, this is Western cuckoo. Oh, she doesn't want to go, she won't go." And no, 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 no. Even in the West, there's family gossip. Even in the West, there are people, the Goras or anybody else or any other race has the same human issues. There's places where you will say no, the places where you will say kind of no, the places where you will say, let's do it, but these things are a no no. You need to know what your no wants to be and what where you have to say your no. Okay, another example of step 2 is you are tired of hearing your friend complain about your work. Yes, all of us women are tired of other women who complain to us continually about their problems, about their situations which they do not want to fix, which you give them 100 things to fix. You give them um the coaches that we have here, you give them Coach Aisha's number, you give them Coach Mariam's number, you give them, because Mariam is also a marriage coach, Aisha is a divorce coach, you give them sister my number, you give them anybody's number, right? Or sister Farah Halabi's, or sister Farida's, or sister Amina's number, any coach that we have on our team. And they still do not call that coach, they still do not reach out to them, but they reach out to you every single day. Every single day, while they're cooking, while they're cleaning, they reach out to you and they start bitching about the whole thing again and again and again, and you are sick and tired of it. What will you do? What is your boundary going to be? This is what she's saying. Nadra Wab is saying, listen, I get that your job is frustrating. I want you to consider talking to someone in human resources and meeting with someone through your employee assistance program to talk about your frustrations. Now, listen, I hear that you're frustrated about this. I cannot help you. I have given you those numbers, and to save our relationship, trust me, you need to either reach out to those people and you need to stop talking to me about this. I empathize with you, but I cannot take the emotional burden anymore. You need to say this. There was this once a client I had, and I think half of her energy used to drain because her neighbor used to come every single day. As soon as her husband left, she would come over. This woman had small kids, and she would drink, she would eat, she would spend the whole day, and she would make this lady, my client, sit and listen to the same thing again and again and again. And her thing was, her manipulative tactic was, I am so far away from my family, I have nobody to talk to, and you're the only person that I can talk to, and I really need to do this so that I can go about my next day. Well, what was this doing to my client? My client was feeling frustrated. She was feeling angry. She was irritated. Her housework was being, she was not getting the space to do her housework, to take care of her younger children who needed her more attention. When her husband would come, she would be so like pissed off by the time her husband came that that anger and that agitation would spill over towards him, and their relationship was getting affected. You cannot help people who don't want to be helped. You need to have your boundary with people. People tend to overshare. Every single woman that I know, including myself, we have overshared our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our problems with our best friends, with our sisters, with our aunts, with our moms, with our cousins, whoever we are close to, whoever we feel safe with. However, that what has that done to us? That has made us bitter, that has made us gossip, that has made us do more istighfar nawafil, and that has not given any resolution. So understand this. Okay. Your partner frequently mentions your weight gain. Oh, this one, I don't like it when you talk about my weight, please stop. If it's an aggressive person, they will say, well, you are fat, what do you expect me to say? I expect you to not hurt me. Well, you look fat. Everybody says you are fat. So what if I say fat? I'm the closest person to you. I'm married to you. I still sleep with you. I don't mind, but yeah, you are fat. How can you deny that fact that you are fat? I'm not denying the fact that I'm fat. I am telling you the fact that you're hurting me with your words and hurting my self esteem is going to hurt our relationship. It makes me sad. And I think you love me enough to not purposely make me sad. I am going to work on my weight. Maybe it's a hormonal issue. Maybe it's a stress issue. Maybe it's an overeating issue. Maybe it's a genetic issue. I am looking into things. But you saying this to me inside our bedroom, I cannot go and fight with every single person. But you, as my husband, or you, as my wife, I feel a sense of betrayal when you say the same things other people say to put me down. Now, again, it was all I feelings. It was all how you're feeling. And you did not tell your husband or your wife you were a horrible person to say that. And you did not gossip about them behind their backs. Oh, they're horrible. They make me feel horrible. You exactly told the person how you're feeling. It was assertive. It was honest. It was direct. It wasn't all these statements were I statements. And you stated how you feel exactly. Hopefully, that person is a person of taqwa and they will back off or at least start to back off. Step 3, dealing with the discomfort that happens as a result of setting boundaries is the hardest part. Yes, this will happen. People will resent you, people will not like you, people will say that, oh my god, in the sense of making boundaries you have complicated our relationship. Well, the complication was before. Now the relationship is actually untangling and getting better. Somebody said, no, I don't agree with so many boundaries because in Islam, in our religion, we are supposed to go beyond, above and beyond our emotional extent to be helpful to other people. Okay, let's come back to the statement. Number one, we like to help people who are not in our household. We love to help people who we think are lower than us in our status, and everybody will see it and everybody will say, oh wow. Or at least for our satisfaction, we want to help other people who are not at all connected to us. We no strings attached. I will help you because you have nothing to give me and I have something to give you, and that will make boost my morale, and that will boost my mood, and that will make me happy, and you know what, I'll help you. But if there's somebody inside the house, inside the family, inside the relationship, how many of us are forgiving of their shortcomings and still trying to help them? How many of us are okay to say no to them? How many of us feel frustrated and angry by maybe the third week or the third day of helping somebody that we are related to? We all do that because there is an expectation attached, because there is an unsaid code, and it's being, and you feel as if I know this person knows me. Why are they, I think they're taking advantage of me. I think they're taking advantage of me. You know, that thought starts coming because you know the person. The waswas kicks in easier when it's somebody that you know, rather with somebody that you don't know. With somebody that you don't know, you don't have any expectation. You say, you know what, I did it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what, they they manipulated me. It's okay. I did it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's completely okay. Oh, come, if your cousin does it, astaghfirullah. They're the worst person on earth. They're manipulators. Why? What's happening here? Family is always tough. That's what's happening. Family is always tough. Okay, coming back to the point. Step 3, dealing with the discomfort. So when I started, yes. Jazakallah khair, Aisha. She says, Iram, you hit the nail on the head. How many of us are giving the help at home first? It's difficult. It's very, because we don't have boundaries, because we talk so much, because we don't want, because we expect so much, because in our head we have a plan and it's not going according to the plan. So something is wrong with the other person, or the other person might say something is wrong with us who are trying to help. Okay, coming back to, so one of the things that happened when I started setting boundaries with my spouse was, he said this out loud, so I know this for to be true. He said to me, Iram, you know what? In this quest of you to have boundaries. You are hurting our relationship. Hmm. He was really mad because I started saying no a lot. And I said, hmm, I'll think about it. I'll definitely think about it. But can you explain how am I hurting our relationship? And he couldn't come up with the answer because what was he going to say? You used to say yes easily, and now you say no. So it's not serving me. If I'm not happy, then I'm not doing it with the heart. I'm not putting in my good intentions in it. I'm not bickering. Have you seen me bicker about you? Have you seen me do passive aggressive things to you? Have you? This was what I was thinking. Like, because of those boundaries, I like you more. I like you more. I can say things to you that I never thought I would be able to say. Again, it's not entirely up to me. He has taqwa enough that he understood and realized, and I gave this open thing, like, this is what I'm trying, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm going, this is what I want to do, this is, I communicated with assertiveness. And yes, there was a pushback. There will always be a pushback, but you have to figure out, is the quality of your relationship getting better or getting worse? This one statement might make somebody think, oh, yeah, see, her relationship was getting worse. But was it really getting worse? Or was it just a manipulative tactic to get a more yes out of me? No, you have to look at the facts, not at the emotions. Just looking at the emotions, which come and go and wash away like waves, if you just get stuck with the emotion and do not see the fact, do not see the factual story, it will not help you set that boundary. People often say, how do I set boundaries without feeling guilty? There is no such thing as guilt free boundaries. Guilt is a part of the process. Guilt typically happens as a result of thinking that what you're doing is bad. It comes from your programming about telling people what you need or want. If you're feeling guilty, here are some reminders. When you're setting your boundaries and you're feeling guilty, here are some reminders. It's healthy for you to have boundaries. Yes, it is. Other people have boundaries that you respect. Yes, those people also have boundaries that you respect. So you are worthy of having your boundaries. Setting boundaries is a sign of a healthy relationship. Coming from me, trust me, having boundaries has made my quality of life better, has made my quality of relationships better, has made my communication skill better. So, yes. And if boundaries ruin a relationship, was your relationship was on the cusp of ending anyway. Friends, you know those friends who who are the bane of your life, but you call them friends. When you starting boundaries with them and they cut off from you, good for you. You do not need those people in your life. Okay. Ways to communicate boundaries in a current relationship. Very quickly. Identifying the areas in which you need limits. State your needs clearly. Do not explain yourself or provide a detailed story of what's behind your request. Be consistent in upholding your boundaries. Restate your need when necessary. I would like to sleep for an hour in the afternoon. Can you please do this for me? I am really behind my project and I want to submit this. I won't be able to cook. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you next week. Can you take care of the cooking today? Or can we buy food from outside only for this week? I'm not able to. I'm not feeling well. I cannot come over, etc., etc. You know what your situation is, but state your need without saying, oh, I really want to do it, but you know what? No, you don't have to say, I really want to do it. You have been in that relationship for years. For years. Give yourself some credit. You have proven for years that you are helpful, that you are kind, that you are loyal, that you take care. They have dumped everything on you and you have still taken care of it, and you've been exhausted and you've been tired, but you did not walk away. That means they 100% know that you are a dependable human being. So when it comes to taking care of your needs and you need that, it is your time to ask without explaining to them what a nice person you are. Because if you need to explain to someone what a nice and a kind person you are after 17 or 20 or 5 or 6 or even 3 years of being a dependable person in that relationship, something is wrong with them not with you. Do not feel guilty. Boundaries with difficult people, you will definitely get a pushback. They ignore that you mentioned a boundary and continue to do whatever you want. Oh my god, this one is with our women folk. Like, for example, our mothers, our mother-in-laws, you will tell them and they will still not listen, and they will pretend they did not listen, and they will pretend they forget, and they will say they did not hear, and they will say, oh, you did not mention. They will gaslight you, and and you will be just like struck with this anger and this like, am I dumb? Really? I did not mention? You know? And so you will get pushback. You need to stay assertive and you need to say, I did mention, you ignored, and that is making me upset. At least say that. Even if the things did not go your way, come say come, at least Allah ka wasta hai, like for goodness sake, at least say that out loud. People get shocked when people tell how they feel, because the bullies never ever care for how the other person is feeling, but that should not take away our voice. If there's a bully in your life and that bully is going to stay till they die in your life, and you are reserved to staying in that relationship with that bully, and you think that you are stuck, so please go ahead and hire some coach for you. um, we have all sorts of coaches here, mashallah tabarakallah. Hire anybody, one of us. But at least say what you feel. Who is going to stop you from the words that are coming out of your mouth? Give yourself that permission, for goodness sakes. Number two, people will test your limits. Of course, people will test your limits. They'll try to sneak, they'll try to manipulate, they'll try to go past you, they'll attempt to do what they want, but in a way that you might not notice initially. If we women have been betrayed, we basically catastrophize the situation even before the situation has happened. That is our problem. We women usually, if we have been betrayed and if we have trust issues, maybe the other person is not even doing anything, but we just start thinking. So know this, for you will have pushback, people will test your limits, but you have to be focused on the fact from the emotion, the fact from your made up story, and then be assertive about it. Okay. Number three is rationalizing and questioning. They will challenge the reason for your boundary and its validity. And I'll give you a very simple example. I got diabetes, right? I am a diabetic. And did I start taking care of my health? No, still I'm like it's been 5 years and I'm still not accepting the fact that, you know what, you really need to do something about it. That's my thing. That's my issue. But my husband started telling me, use artificial sweeteners. Why don't you use artificial? He saw that I don't drink the one thing that I did is I stopped taking sugar in my tea. I hate coffee anyways. I've never liked coffee, so I don't drink coffee. And so he's like, start taking sugar. And then he saw me switch to the carbonated soda, because I love soda, but the carbonated soda that has no artificial sweetener. Or so once he brought something that had artificial sweetener, and said, and he brought biscuits for me, and that was such a nice gesture of him. He knew how much I like sweets, so he bought me some cookies and biscuits that had artificial sweetener in them, and I also went gluten free, and that had wheat in them. So I told him, I really appreciate that you did this for me. This is so sweet, but I cannot eat it. And he got so mad, and he was like, what's wrong with artificial sweetener? Okay, wheat, fine. It spikes your glucose level, fine. Okay, but what is wrong with artificial sweeteners? Everybody who has diabetes uses artificial sweeteners, and I had done my research. And I am of that side of the people who thinks artificial sweeteners are not good for you. And I told him, listen, it's not good for you. And he's like, how do you know it's not good for you? I said, I studied. Study, there are so many studies. There are studies that artificial sweeteners are good. Manika, yes, but there's always a reason, there's always a way to find where the resource is coming from. And so I've done my part. I'm not going to eat it. He was mad at me for quite some time, and he argued every single time he drank diet Coke. Every single time I reminded him, this is not healthy, you rather just drink normal Coke. And he would just get mad at me. And then then he became quiet, because he knew this woman is like, okay, fine, she's going to stick with this idea, she's going to stick with her new learning, fine. So rationalizing, questioning is a part of the process. Don't get scared of it. People have the right to ask. They will not ask nicely. That's another issue. That's their personality. They're going to ask you demeaningly. They're going to question you as if you're stupid. That's their problem. That is the point. We want everything to be nice. No, boundary settings in the initial stages is going to look not nice. And you have to accept that fact if you want the rest of your life to be nice. Okay. Defensiveness. They challenge what you need, what you said, or character, or make excuses about how their behavior is okay. We know that. I'm not going to give an example for that. Um, we spiritually or we Islamically demean women, telling them you're going to go to Jahannam, and because your husband is not happy with you, you're not going to even smell the Jannah, and this is not going to happen to you, and this is not going to happen to you, and you're not fulfilling your rights, and the angels are going to give you lana. We have all experienced and heard stuff like that. Okay. And so when you are having that boundary that defensiveness will come out, and it's natural to come out if somebody does not know the boundary setting path, and it's okay. Another thing to Hamisha understand, always Hamisha, my Urdu English gets mixed. Anything that you're trying for the first time, if you've been living with someone, is like a new flavor and they might not like it, and that's okay, because you're not inserting that flavor for them, you're not pushing it towards them, you're trying it on yourself. Are they being affected by it? 100% they're being affected by it, but you know that you're doing something that's hard, that's not easy, but that will make life easier for the whole entire family, right? Silent treatment. I don't have to say much about it. It's haram. Just don't do it. Just don't do the silent treatment thing. People give silent treatment. People stop talking. People stop giving salams. People stop smiling. People stop sitting next to you. People stop taking food from your hand. This is a husband-wife issue. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Listen, nobody's going to die hungry. They will eat the food when you're sleeping or when you're out of the house. Don't fret about it. If you are that kind of a wife who loves her cooking and who takes so much pride that I cook and my husband loves it, and now he has suddenly stopped eating my food, he is addicted to your food. He will eat it. He will go out, he will buy food, he will eat it. He is not going to die hungry. Have taqwa, tawakkul, and please, he's not a baby. Khalas. End of discussion. Okay. Follow up your boundaries with actions. Quick tip. Okay, so there are three things. Should I stop here? I see it's 42 minutes. I really think I should just wrap it up now very quickly. I don't want to say why people don't respect boundaries. We all know why they don't really respect boundaries. What happens when people do all of these things? What happens when people are testing your limits, doing all the things that they're doing? You assertively restate it. This is a practice. It will not happen. Yes, you will be able to watch it again, inshallah ta'ala. This will not happen overnight. This is not going to happen. If you've been in a practice of not having any boundaries for 15, 16, 17, 18, 10, 20 years of your life, and then suddenly you realize, oh my God, I need to have a boundary. I want to have a good quality of life. Do you expect that the other people will respect that? They're not used to that. You're basically saying the whole lifetime I've given you sweets at whatever time that you wanted, and now I'm going to have a restricted diet. Who likes it? Everybody hates it. That's why we have such unhealthy lifestyles. We don't like salads much. Okay. Number 2, correct the violation in real time. Don't let the opportunity pass and then mention it later. Say it in the moment. This is the hardest thing, because in the back of our head, I don't want to start a fight. I don't want to start a fight. I don't want my children to get upset. I don't want them to see that mama and baba are fighting always. You're not going to end up fighting always. Trust me. It's the struggle in the beginning, and then later on, it will become easier. But you have to take a stand. Accept that they, although difficult, are entitled to their response, even if it's different from what you'd like. Yes, this I have already said. People have the right to say what they want to say. You have the right to either still say assertive and politely reinstate what you want, or just get like all wishy-washy and say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, you're upset, okay, I'm sorry. What did you do basically? Okay. And then the last one, manage your discomfort. Nobody is going to help you to manage your discomfort. You are going to be discomfortable. That is a fact of the boundary. If you do not want discomfort, by sorting your life, by setting boundaries, then you're going to remain uncomfortable for the rest of your life, not having those boundaries, despising the people overstepping you, You choose which one you want. You want to like the people, you want to dislike the people. You want to not be nice and assertive, you want to be nice, less assertive, and be walked all over you. You want to have the peace of mind and actually love the relationships that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with. Be kind and compassionate and empathetic, actually sincere to them. You want to gossip about them and die one day gossiping, and then, in the qabr, tikka barbecue is going to happen. May Allah protect us. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الكفر والفقر. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر. لا إله إلا أنت. آمين. Exercise. Okay, there's an exercise at the end. This is very important. You need to grab a journal, and remember, we are all coaches, so journaling is our go-to. Yes, discomfort. Thank you so much. Discomfort is definitely lesser than the two evils. Quick tips. There are 4 tips for quick holding the boundary violation, and then we will go through the exercise. Tip number 1 is speak in the moment. When you remain silent, you give the people the impression that what they said or did is okay. What you say doesn't have to be well thought out or perfect. Simply say something like, "I don't like it." Learn from your younger kids. The toddlers, they don't care. They don't. I don't like it. I'm not going to eat it. Ugh, ew. And the teens, learn something from them. Say, "I don't like it." Number 2, verbalize your boundaries with others. Do it organically in conversations like, "I don't like it when people come over without calling first." Oh my God. Can you say that to somebody that has no respect for your boundary? "Oh my God, you think that I'm going to call you and come? I'm never going to come to your house ever again." Next week, they're going to come to your house. But this time, they will probably text you grudgingly, but they will. Maybe the 10th time they will, but they will. You have to be assertive until the 10th time, the 20th time, the 100th time. It's okay. Okay, number 3. If someone violates your boundary or already that you've already verbalized, tell them how the violation makes you feel, then restate what you expect. I did the whole example, so alhamdulillah, we're good with that. Tip number 4, don't let people slide, not even once. This is difficult. And this is where my husband and I had an argument, because he said, "You know what? This boundary thing is working for you. It's not working for us. It's hurting us." Who was it hurting? It was hurting. It was hurting him, because I would not let it slide. And I recognized that, and I did say, "I see that you think I'm becoming difficult, but I am much more easier when I will know that this thing that I need from you is being recognized or is being respected or is being, taken care of. I swear to God, I will love you more. I like you more. I respect you more. I am more easier to communicate with. I easily say yes when I am in the right state of mind. I'm not doing this purposefully to hurt you. That's not my prerogative." Okay, so you know how your relationship with your spouse works, you know how your relationship with other people works, but you need to state things. So exercise is, write down your boundary using an I statement. I want, I need, I would. And when I was doing this, I was like, "Oh, so Western people, me, my, I. And so we are programmed into thinking that if we say something that we want, it is a feminist agenda, it is a West agenda, it is a Kufan agenda, it is no, it is a human agenda. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask me, "Iram, why were you so bitchy to all these people?" Ya Allah, these people were bitchy to me. So what did you do about it? I bitched back, tit for tat. That's not going to work, right? That's not going to fly there. So write down your boundary using the I statement. I want, I need, I would like, or I expect. Do not write the word "because." This is so selfish. This is so important. Do not write, "I want this because." No. Then you are apologizing for your need, and that is not a boundary. That is not a boundary. Number 2, how do you want to share your boundary with the other person? In person, through text, through email? Does that feel the most comfortable or appropriate? Sometimes you just need to text your husbands or email them, and you know why? I think in my life, the husband-wife relationship and the boundary in that relationship was extremely important. I have fairly nice in-laws. Honestly, I'm blessed. And my husband made boundaries with them for me, so I never had to struggle. And if a boundary was ever crossed, I knew he would address it even before I would address it. So, yes, I come from a place where I did not have to struggle much with my boundaries. And when there were spaces where I had to struggle, again, being nice or being battamiz, and I chose nice, and then I suffered for a couple of years. But then again, whose problem was that? Whose issue was that? It wasn't my issue. I needed to be more assertive. I needed to say certain things. I needed to let other people know that they're hurting me. Did I do that? I did not do that. And what happened? I made those people villains. I made those people villains. Were those people actually villains? No, they weren't villains. They were just oblivious to to somebody else's needs and wants. They just were like, this is what I want. This is what. So if other person is okay to do what they want, why are you not okay to do what you want? Make sense? And yes, it is not selfish. You're not purposely cutting relationships. You're not severing relationships. All of these boundary tactics I have said again and again. And that marriage example, going to a wedding example, is our reality. We will never say, I'm not going to go to this person's wedding because this person was mean to me, or his mom was mean to me, or I hate your side of the family. That's why I hate your side of the family is pretty obvious. Your husband knows you hate their side of the family, and you know that your husband hates your side of the family. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. It has come up many times. You know that. You've seen how they interact with them in different situations. You know that. But do you go? Yes, you go. You do go. But the boundary conversation is different. It's not like I'm not going to go. The boundary conversation is I'm going to go, but we need to get back in an hour or two. I am going because I do not want to create drama. Again, I use I and because this is a specific situation. I am going. I want to come back at this time. If you don't want to use because, I am going. I want to come back at this time. I am going. I will not sit at that table. Do not expect me to be smiling the whole time. I will try my best. There is an adab. I cannot go beyond this limitation. Okay. Decide what you want to share your boundary now or in the next time when it's violated. Again, do what makes you feel the most comfortable. Tend to your discomfort after sharing your boundary. Immediately ground yourself by engaging in self-care practice. For example, do two nafal, do the journal, go for a walk, drink water, do whatever you need to do. But these are a few exercises that you can do. I hope, inshallah ta'ala, 52 minutes. Oh my goodness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us in living fulfilled lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us in allowing us to live our best life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to build our relationships beautifully. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieve us from the sadness and the baggage that we carry. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the wisdom to see that we have the tools within us to live a good life. Inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Adila Hussain, Jazakallah khair for being Sister Saima and Sister Adila and Sister Aisha, Coach Aisha, Coach Sarah, thank you so much. And if there was somebody else, and because I cannot see the Facebook names, thank you so much once again. Jazakallahu khair. Our next workshop is going to be by the end of October. It's going to be about communication, and it's going to be run by our coaches, Sister Maryam Arafat and Sister Aisha Jaweed. One is a marriage coach, one is a divorce coach. I don't think there's such a nice combination. There's such a nice combination. Where would you get such a combination? But exactly here at Parenting with Allah by My Side team. And also, our parenting conference is coming up, inshallah ta'ala, the first week of December. We have a fantastic lineup. We will reveal more about it. Do keep an eye on your emails, please. Share the khair, share these videos with other people, share it with friends and family. You know who needs to hear what, so share, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.